Hello everybody, today we are coming to you from, surprise, Dinoland, USA, where today we're going to be doing a little bit of a book preview. Now, today I've been over here for about 2 hours, kind of working through a lot of different little, not kinks, but little, just making sure things are on task. I've got the book on my phone right now, so making sure that everything actually is where I say it is, that it makes sense on one thing to another thing. But today we're going to be talking about the flow of the book, and I'm going to be taking you guys through the flow of the book. We're not going to go into too much detail about a lot of things, but I'm also using this later on as a resource to go back through. So the book is actually going to start off here with the bridge and then go over here to trilobites until eventually we get over here to the actual meat and potatoes, is that the phrase, of Dinoland, USA. So before we actually get into the land itself, we're going to talk a little bit about Dino Bash, talk about the history of that, along with some of the little details around the land that deal with it, and then talk about the Olden Gate Bridge, the book that's found right here. After that, we walk into the land itself, where we have so many details. And we're going to go through and kind of talk about all the ways that everything kind of connects together, including the groundwork here, because the groundwork here actually makes a huge connection from one area to the next. But prior to getting into any attraction or any restaurant or any shop, we actually stop over here at the Bolton Board, and we go through on how the Bolton Board actually keeps us up to date on all the different characters, mainly our 5 main characters, Dr. Bernard Dunn, Dr. Shirley Wu, Dr. Eugene McGee, Jenny Weinstein, and Sam Gonzalez as well. And we kind of go into a little bit of detail about these characters and how they help tie everything together. Also, a little fun fact about this right here. If you look up here, we have the Dinosaur Jubilee instead of the area that's over here now, Chester and Hester's Dinorama. That's because that was actually, this is like an opening day map here of what was here in Dinoland, USA. But we go through a lot of details, literally a lot of details about this Bolton Board and how it starts to connect to all the other things. And then we go across the way here to the Boneyard. We go through the entire Boneyard from this section all the way across the Olden Gate Bridge over to the Mammoth Dig Site. And again, we go through all the different details that are found in there, the history, the storyline, the details, all of it. We then make our way over here to Crocodile Island, which unfortunately is no longer Crocodile Island. This was home to Marley the crocodile up until about 2 weeks ago, where he is no longer here, sadly. After we go through this area, along with the animals that are still found on the other side, then we take a look at the spot behind me where there's tons of people right now, so I don't want to show them on camera, but that is going to be the Wilderness Explorer spot. We don't just talk about the Wilderness Explorers here, but we also talk about the Wilderness Explorer spot that can be found inside of the Boneyard as well. After that, we make our way over here to Dino Bite Snacks. Very simple chapter, but it still has some really cool fun facts in there and little details. And then we make our way over here to Restaurantosaurus. Now, Restaurantosaurus is most likely, I'm still finishing up details on 2 big chapters, but most likely Restaurantosaurus will probably be the longest chapter in the entire book. It's a lot of detail, a lot more detail for a restaurant than I think most people realize. We also have a few of those things that we're going to be talking about, Donald's Dino Bash, scattered over here as well. This side up, McDuck Enterprises. And then we make our way over here to the Cretaceous Trail. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to this is like me essentially taking you guys on a walkthrough that I'm literally doing, but I've never actually physically walked the entire area while doing this planet, and now I'm starting to kind of get really, really, really excited. So we have the Cretaceous Trail here. We go throughout the entire Cretaceous Trail, all the different details that can be found there. Looks like we're also going to have Goofy skipping past us in just a second here. There's Goofy. After we go through the Cretaceous Trail, we come out over towards the Dinosaur Area. when we get over here to the dinosaur area. We will first, before talking about the attraction itself, talk about Tyrannosaurus Rex, or Dino Sue, as she is lovingly referred to. This dinosaur bone structure right here. Again, very simple chapter, but at the same time, a really cool detail that is found in that chapter. Our next one is going to be one of the biggest chapters that we have in the entire book. So we're going to go through and talk about everything here at the attraction Dinosaur, starting off with its history with countdown to extinction up until current days with it being Dinosaur. Go through all the details, talk about the dinosaur that used to be found in this pool. It's a Triceratops, but why was it Triceratops? Well, you'll have to read the book to find out. After we go through and talk about Dinosaur and the history of Dinosaur and the storyline of Dinosaur and the walkthrough of Dinosaur. By the way, so every single chapter, we're going to have the story, the history, the walkthrough, everything to it. We will talk about the gift shop at the exit of Dinosaur, which is the Dino Institute gift shop. Again, not the most exciting chapter. There's a few chapters where the great thing about Dinoland is there's a lot of details in here that can be scattered around, and then you'll have some chapters that really are just simple things, but they, at the same time, they help with the story. It's like any other great story. Not every single part of it is going to be this big, exciting thing. You're also going to have some filler spots that help expand the story, and that's one of the things right there at that gift shop as well. So after going through that gift shop, we do take a small little hike on this trail. There's not really much on this trail to talk about, but the main thing that we're going to talk about is our next spot up here, which is Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures. Again, another chapter that is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, chapters in the entire book, because the backstory for this entire gift shop is absolutely insane. And not only is it absolutely insane, the walkthrough, there's so many details in here. When you look up here, all of these little dinosaurs, we don't talk about every one of them, but there are a few in here that really need to be noted on and paid attention to. There's also hidden characters like a hidden Woody from Toy Story. There's also a hidden Fred from Big Hero 6 in this restaurant, or not restaurant, in this gift shop. And of course there's references to Epcot as well, and the fact that we are in the state of Florida. We'll go into more of that in a little bit. Then we enter into Chester and Hester's Dinorama. Now, when we go into Chester and Hester's Dinorama, we will be talking about Triceratops. Been over on our left-hand side, we will touch on an extinct chapter, because it's dinosaurs. Extinct attractions like Primeval World, which was on our right-hand side. But we go from Triceratops, been in the book. Eventually, this is like at the end of the book, as like things that used to be there. That and the Dinosaur Jubilee and things like that will be there. We do touch on the Cornivores, which is a popcorn stand here, but a really cool little details in this one too. I do like all the little spots around Dinoland USA just make me so happy. And then we go through the Fossil Fun Games. Now, the Fossil Fun Games has things like Bronto Score. We talk a little bit about some of the details with Bronto Score. We talk about some details with the Fossil Fueler. We also talk about one of my favorite spots throughout the entire land, which is the Mammoth Marathon. I love Mammoth Marathon. I've lost many a dollar to the Mammoth Marathon. Now, I know you're thinking, well, the chapter must be close, or not the chapter, the book must be close to being over, because we would be exiting out of this area. And while you would think you're right, you are 100% wrong, because we still have a lot to talk about when we get through this book. Now, a lot of people have asked me about the Theater in the Wild, which is the spot where the Finding Nemo musical plays. We are not going to be going into too much detail about that, because technically the Theater in the Wild is the only spot, or the only attraction, I should say, in all of Walt Disney World that does not belong to a specific land. It is literally a theater in the wild. So we're going to touch on it, because I know people are going to be expecting it, but we're mainly going to be saying what I just said. It's not technically part of Dinoland USA. Will it be part of Tropical Americas? We have no idea. But we will continue by going back towards the land, which I know might sound confusing to some people. This is so exciting. I've never actually walked the entire course of the book before. But we are now on the main road that takes us through Dig County, which is the fictional county that we are found here in the storyline of Dinoland USA. While we go through here, we will talk about the roadside attractions, like the painting thing over there. We also have the amazing Dinorama sign made out of license plates. We're going to talk about Daryl on the right-hand side, the dinosaur. That's Donald's cousin. And I know you're thinking, oh, we've already talked about this stuff on the left-hand side. We've talked about stuff on the right-hand side. But we are going to be ending the whole book at a completely different spot, because we have to go through the Welcome Center here on the right-hand side, which is also the meet and greet area for Donald Duck himself. And from there, we'll be making a few final stops on our tour. Our first one is Mr. Imagination here on the right-hand side. He's got some really cool details about him too. The world's largest pin truck, also here on the right-hand side. And I know you're thinking, okay, we've covered Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures. We've covered Chester and Hester's Dinorama. Where on earth do we go from here? How will we wrap all of this up? Well, we wrap it up with the end of the land. Because as the sign here says, the dinosaurs say goodbye. This is where we would say goodbye in our book as well. And at the very end of it, we're going to wrap it up with the two signs back here, along with the spot that's back here that's fenced off. And that is, for the first time ever, my entire complete walkthrough of this brand new book that will be coming out sometime in the very near future. When? I don't have a specific date yet, but we are getting closer and closer to having it, so we will be able to announce that date. So I hope you guys enjoyed this walkthrough. It's not what I was planning on doing today, but I'm glad that I did it. And it was kind of crazy because it literally just took us 12 minutes to walk through that entire land without even going into all the details that are going to be found in this incredibly detailed land that most people just kind of taken advantage of for the last 26 years. So as always, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you want to get this book, make sure you're following this channel so you know exactly when this book can come out, or will come out, not can. But as always, we will see you guys once again tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone, and oh yeah.